First, it worked.
Do you need to move some of that stuff?
Nah, just
You're all set.
All right. Chuck, where do you live and what do you do? Give us your name.
Chuck Dipple. I live downtown Greenville, and I own Dipple Plumbing, Electrical, HVAC, and I started this business in 1979.
How long have you been a plumber?
I've been doing plumbing since I was 13 years old. I knew plumbing when I got out of high school. I graduated when I was 17. Yeah, I graduated high school when I was 17. And I worked for a real large mechanical company my first 2 years out of high school on a big project in southern Arizona.
So how did you get started plumbing, and how did you get started opening Dipple Plumbing, Electrical, Heating, and Air?
Well, my dad taught me. My dad was a plumber, so I learned plumbing growing up. And then I started the business I have now here in Greenville in 1979. And there really wasn't any other service businesses at that time. And so 1979 is when I started.
You've been doing this for a long time, so what part of it do you enjoy the most?
I enjoy talking to my customers. I come in early in the morning. I'm usually in here by 7. I like answering the phone. I learn a whole lot about my business by talking to my customers, and I work till about 2 o'clock every day, and mostly what I do is answer the phone, oversee. I have a day-to-day manager, Derek, but I just kind of oversee.
What do you like the least?
Having to collect money. I mean, you know, in this kind of a business, you have to bill some people, and nowadays collecting money is a big deal, and I have a hard time being mean and getting on the telephone and really getting stern with somebody.
What kind of areas do you send the crew out to work on? Are they rural? Are they farm towns?
We work in everything from the high-rise buildings downtown out to Pickens County, Oconee County, out in the rural areas. Everything from a big commercial building to a single wide mobile home out in the country.
So in the life of a day in Dipple Plumbing, what type of jobs do you typically get called? Does your crew get called out on? Residential, commercial, and what type?
Whether it be residential or commercial, the number one call is toilets. So it's something to do with somebody's toilet. Normally, the toilet is stopped up or leaking. That's the main call. We do everything, but the main call we get are toilets. That's the number one call. You know, we do everything from repair toilets to replace all the drainage and water lines in your house, and if need be, even from the house to the street.
How well is Dipple Plumbing, Electrical, Heating, and Air known in the community?
I think we're a pretty much a household word. Everybody knows who we are. I've been here 33 years, and I'm very social, and I do a lot of the fundraisers and stuff around town. So everybody knows who we are. To the point that I take a lot of service calls personally, even on my cell phone. People call me no matter where. If I'm out of town, traveling, I get called, and somebody has a problem.
How many plumbers do you currently have on staff?
I think we have about 8 plumbers, service techs. I think I have about 28 or 30 people working for me right now, but the plumbers, I think I have about 8 service techs.
Your local competition, about how many of them are out there?
I think I really only have like 3 competitors, direct competitors. Everybody else they don't run the kind of business we run.
And how do you stack up against them?
I think we're superior. We have more knowledge than most of the other companies have. I have a lot of the other companies have younger guys running their trucks. I have middle-aged guys running my truck. Some of them even own their own business. Right now, I have 2 plumbers working for me that used to own their own businesses.
Any local legends in plumbing? Or
What
is
do you-
that you?
What do you mean? Oh, local legends. Yeah, Sam Floyd back in the early 1900s. Before that, in the late 1800s, was Mr. Barr. Some of the ones in the early 40s and 50s, probably Lloyd Hall and Mr. Burfield. But
What in your mind makes them a legend?
they were guys. I mean, they were guys. They were it before I came to town. You know, Lloyd Hall and Mr. Burfield were it. They were the plumbers. They were. That's who you called. You know, you called Dipple now. Back then, it was Lloyd Hall Plumbing or L.S. Green Plumbing. They were big.
What's the best part about doing plumbing or being a plumber?
Well, I mean, I love people. So you meet lots of different people. You get in lots of different situations, and you know, when you invade somebody's space, you learn a whole lot, and that's what we do all day long. Because plumbing happens to be in the bathroom. The bathroom's usually off of the bedroom, so you learn a lot about people. You get in some really crazy situations.
What's the worst part?
When it's raining cats and dogs outside and you're standing out there trying to unstop somebody's sewer, you got water running out the top of your boots and sewage all over you, and might be cold, might be hot. It's you know, urinals, men's urinals. In my opinion, the men's urinals are the worst. When you pull a man's urinal off the wall that's been there for 10 or 15 years, there's nothing worse.
Well, we know Dipple Plumbing, Electrical, Heating, and Air, I believe, was started by you and your mom.
Yeah, my mom, Joanna. And we started in 1979. My mom answered the phone and I ran the truck. And back then we had beepers. You know, that was a big deal. And we thought that was like uptown to have beepers. And then I remember when we graduated to two-way radios, and they were about this big. And same thing the police use. Then slowly, you know, we've automated to where we are today. But
well, you've kept it as a family business, so there's more family, also some four-legged families. So tell us about the rest of the family that's involved.
we have Rock, who's a boxer mix, and he's a rescue dog, and we have Faith, who's an English Mastiff, and she's a rescue dog, and they're the faces. They're the faces of my business. They're on my trucks and my advertising. They both talk on our TV commercials. And then my sister Gwen, my mom Joanna, that helped me start the business, passed away in '97. My sister Gwen's worked for me 25 years, and she handles payroll and all the finances, and she still works in the company.
We'd love to hear a few stories or anecdotes about your plumbing experience. What was your most memorable plumbing job when you were out plumbing?
Memorable? Probably the story about it happened here in Greenville, and I went to some people's house late in the afternoon, 4-ish, and the man of the house wasn't home. The lady invited me in, and they had a mainline stoppage, and they didn't have I went outside to look for a clean out. They didn't have a clean out, which is where you enter the line to rotor-rooter it, and so I dug down to the sewer, opened it up, and ran my rotor-rooter machine. It stopped pretty easy, about 60 feet out. And as I was retrieving the cable, the man of the house had come home by then, and he had come around the corner of the house and was looking over my shoulder, and he was asking me what I found. And I said, I really didn't find anything. It unstopped pretty easy. And right about then, my cable came all the way out, and you know, kind of had a retriever end on it, and there was condoms all wrapped up on the end of the cable, and the guy was just hysterical because he didn't use condoms, and so he proceeded to go in, and him and his wife had quite the fight, but I loaded my stuff up and got out of there. I didn't even worry about collecting.
What was the craziest experience?
Craziest experience. Probably one of my customers, after I was not running a truck and I had plumbers working for me on the east side of town here in Greenville, we used to have a lady that called us every month. Sometimes she'd wait 2 months, once in a while 3 months, but 3 months was probably the maximum. But she would want all the washers and all of her faucets changed and the flappers in her toilets every month. And it didn't need it. I mean, we were taking good stuff out and putting same stuff back in, but in her mind, she needed the washers and her faucets changed every month, so we did it for her.
Did she ever explain why?
No, she was a special lady.
Special lady.
She was a very special customer.
How about the oddest job that you've ever seen or been out on, where companies had?
Ah, the oddest job. I would probably say the oddest job was one of the most dangerous jobs. When I was in high school, my dad was doing a renovation on a Mexican restaurant in Tucson, Arizona, and where the addition was going to be added on to the restaurant, there was a 2-inch galvanized, everybody thought, water main going right through where the addition was. So my dad had told me to go out there and I would do this, I worked a lot after school, and he would go out, and on the weekends he said go out there and reroute that water line around that addition so they can dig the footings and get the floor poured. And so I went out there and back then we didn't have electric saws, and I shut the water main off and started sawing through this galvanized 2-inch galvanized line, and I noticed when I penetrated the pipe I didn't get any water back, and it kind of ding ding, and it didn't ding enough though. Anyway, I kept sawing with that hacksaw, and I got down toward the center of the pipe, and all of a sudden it blew me back off of it, and come to find out I was sawing through the main power line coming into the restaurant with a handsaw, and it literally melted the handsaw into a little ball of metal in the dirt down below it. And I was really fortunate that I didn't get electrocuted, but it actually knocked the power. It knocked the transformer out on the pole. The power company had to come, and they were just amazed that I didn't get killed right there on the spot. But I learned a lesson. When you saw into a pipe, if you don't get a little water out of it, you better stop.
What's the grossest thing you've ever seen?
The grossest job was when I fell into a septic tank all the way, and I was uncovering one, had a backhoe operator there uncovering it for me, and I was standing pretty close trying to keep him from catching the side of the concrete tank with his backhoe bucket, and I didn't realize that the tank was that old, and the concrete was so crumbly that as he started uncovering it, the side fell in, and I went all the way under and came up doo-doo all over, and got sick, and he took me to the shop and washed me off, and 3 days later I was still taking showers trying to feel clean. It was pretty bad. Septic tanks are really the worst thing to fall in.
Well, plumbing can be a grueling job, so how do you try to incorporate some fun?
Well, what I do for my guys is we call impromptu lunches. Like a couple, 3 weeks ago, about 10 o'clock in the morning, I told the secretaries, hey, I'm taking everybody to lunch today. We're going to go have Mexican food. And so we text all the plumbers and take them all to lunch. And we have cookouts. We get together. You can't always get everybody together at the same time because our business never stops. So we have guys working all the time, and but then they get their opportunity. But we do things like we'll go to one of the local restaurants and rent out part of it and take all the guys out one evening and let them bring their wives and have a night out on the town. At Christmas we usually I've catered it before here at the offices. Usually we go out to one of the restaurants and rent part of the restaurant, and we feed all the guys and their significant others, and we try to keep it lively in the office. We teach our people to be fun on the telephone, and the guys are out there in the heat and the cold, and it's a rough job.